when you travel 7,000 miles from your home and you're looking for McDonald's, I found this very stupid.
Hey everyone, my name is Sarah. Welcome to Friendly Faces, Amazing Places, a podcast where each week I share stories from real people I've met while traveling. Everything from horror stories to inspiring adventures to insightful tips and advice. So sit back, fasten your seatbelt, and come explore the world with me and my friends. I am so glad that this podcast is edited because I do not want you all to know how much time it takes me to record these intros. Welcome back to another episode, everybody. I'm your host, Sarita. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and making the most of your time in quarantine, whatever that means for you. This week's episode was really special for me because it got to the heart of what I wanted to do with this podcast. In previous week's episodes, we've talked about hard-hitting issues a little bit with privilege, wealth gaps when traveling, the stereotypes around so-called dangerous countries. I started this podcast to be able to share with you beautiful places, delicious food, friendly people, but also the hard parts of travel. My guest this week is my friend Zach, and our conversation steered towards some of those more difficult topics. I think it's important to understand that travel is not always just fun. In this episode, we talk about the racism in politics surrounding the coronavirus. We talk about Islamophobia in Western Europe and the United States. But most of all, we had a great discussion about Western privilege. Zach is an adventurous guy, he's really hilarious, but he's also willing to sit down and have these hard conversations, which is one of my favorite parts of traveling as well. I hope you enjoy this conversation. If you want to talk to me about any of the topics covered in this podcast, please reach out. It's my passion. I love to talk about it. And without further ado, please meet my friend, Zach. Hey Zach, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Zach. I'm from Belgium, and so I started my trip to South America in January. So I took a one-way, of course, as usual, and my plan was to travel for at least 3 months. It has been my 50th country visited so far.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Can you tell us where you're from specifically and what you would recommend someone to see if they were to visit your home?
So I'm living in Brussels, so capital city of Belgium, of Europe even. There are a lot of things to see here. If people love architecture, it's a really nice place, because, I don't know, during the Second World War, the Germans didn't bomb us, didn't attack us. We were their friends, let's say, at some point. So all the old buildings are still intact. So the architecture is quite interesting, and it's very multicultural because of all these European institutions that we have, European Parliament, European Council, European Commission. Mm-hmm. So like here on the streets, you could basically hear 50 different languages when you take the subway. It's a nice city, like, I don't know, I think 1.5 million inhabitants only.
Yeah, that's actually kind of small, yeah.
Yeah, for a capital, yeah, it's small compared to like big cities like Paris or even, I don't know, like Frankfurt or Berlin.
What is like an insider tip about seeing Brussels? What would you, like if I were to come visit you, what would you take me to see?
The Grand Place, so it's this main square in the heart of the city. It's the old town, let's say, and I would take you to a beer tasting visit. Yeah, because we're very famous for beers. We have I think more than 300 different beers in such a tiny country.
So since this is a podcast about people I've met while traveling, can you explain how you and I met?
So I decided to volunteer in Santiago de Chile, and that's where we met. And the first day I discovered that you were also volunteering on this place. So we were colleagues, and then we became friends. yeah, it was a good start also. Like
First colleagues, then friends.
yeah, exactly. But now more friends.
So I was doing video editing and photography for the hostel. What were you doing for volunteering work?
Oh, so they were renovating an extension of the building, let's say. And I was doing a lot of things that I'm not used to do, like painting or varnishing furniture and stuff like that. So for me, it was quite new. I was expecting something more like working at the reception because I speak 5-6 languages, but
Yeah.
my Spanish wasn't good enough at that time. So yeah, that's why they said, just stick to the painting and don't talk.
Have 'em paint some chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of traveler do you consider yourself?
Mostly solo traveler, so I'm always traveling solo. Backpacker, of course. I never take heavy luggages, just a backpack. I don't make any plans usually. I just land somewhere in the world, in any city, and then I just, go with the flow and ask locals mostly, what to do, what not to do, and where not to go. That's how I do it, basically.
Have you always traveled your whole life, like with your family growing up, or when did you start traveling?
Yeah, actually, I started quite young because my father was he was a kind of adventurer. So he used to take us all around Europe. So we are 4 siblings, and he was like, okay, we have 2 weeks off, so let's go to Austria, let's go to Germany, let's go there and there. And I was like, of course, for us it was a dream, It was like, okay, let's go to adventure. So I think that's where all this comes from. I started very early. I was maybe 5-6 years old. And then every year because I have Turkish origins, so almost everywhere we were going to Turkey by car. And it's a 4,000 kilometer trip, so I think it's about 2,500 miles or something.
Yeah, that's a really long road trip.
Yeah, it was yeah, exactly. And so we were crossing, I think, 6 countries at that time.
That's awesome. Man, I wish I had that many countries to visit as a kid, but in the United States we only have like Canada and Mexico right next to us.
Yeah, but it's such a huge country. You have so many things to see. I mean,
that's true.
If you want the mountains, the ocean, you have 2 oceans. We have the North Sea, and it's super cold. I mean,
so you mentioned you speak how many languages?
5 or 6. I don't know. Well, let's say 5.
How did you come to speak 5 or 6 languages, and how does that affect how you travel?
Well, of course, it helps a lot because I can, with all the languages that I speak. So I speak French. That's my mother language. I speak Dutch because in Belgium it's the second official language, and then I speak also Turkish and Arabic because my parents come from a city at the border of Syria and Turkey, so they used to. I mean, they speak both languages. So yeah, that's already a good start because I had 3 or 4 mother languages. Then I just took German as extra. And then Spanish, I just learned it like that, just by traveling.
Do the languages you speak influence where you decide to travel, or do you go places where you have no idea what the language is?
No, never, because I've been to Asia, and there it's hard to find a English or French speaker. So no, I don't. I think with sometimes sign language is enough.
I think that's so interesting because I know a lot of people who are mostly like white Westerners who like they learned some Spanish in high school or something, and so they travel to like South America or Spain or something. But I really don't think language should inhibit you from going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I think like the hardest situation was when I traveled to Laos. I couldn't find for 2 weeks. I couldn't find one person who could speak English or French. So it was really challenging, but I loved it. I mean, we had so many different like funny situations. When I was going to a restaurant, I was just showing with my just pointing what I want, and people there were helping me, like which sauce to use, and don't use this spicy sauce that you don't know. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I was in Taiwan, and I was in a very small town, or a small city, I should say. And I went into this like really good looking restaurant, like, I don't know, like dumpling shop. It was just open to the street, and I just walked in and everything was in Chinese, and I just had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully there was this American woman who also spoke Chinese who came up and helped me order, and we became friends, and it was great. But you learn so much about yourself when you can't speak another language. It's fun. So what do you do when you're not traveling?
Oh, yeah. So I'm a tour guide, as I said. So I've always been in the tourism sector, and before that, so last year I decided to move. I moved to Prague.
Wow.
And there I was working for an airline, for Air France and KLM.
Mm-hmm.
Like contact center, selling tickets, pre-flight and after-flight problems.
Yeah. So you kind of work in the travel industry when you're not traveling.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a passion, and it's also my job.
Do you have a favorite place in the world that you've been to?
Well, this last trip to South America was really like a crush. It was a big surprise. I mean, I've been to South America before, to Argentina and Brazil, but I was only in Buenos Aires and Rio de Janeiro, but it was for a short time, so 2 weeks and 2 weeks. So when it's limited, you can't really enjoy and take your time. So yeah, South America, definitely, like Argentina, I really loved it. Bolivia, Brazil, I was in Florianopolis, which is amazing. And a part of that, my trip to Southeast Asia was amazing, like Laos, Malaysia, Singapore. It's hard to just pick one, because all the countries that I visited have something special. I've been to Africa, also to Tanzania and Kenya. Well, Kenya, yeah, because of the safari. Safari was like a dream that came true.
Do you have any places you've been that were kind of a letdown?
Yeah, maybe Tunisia. Yeah, I've been there once, and I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the best period, because it was Ramadan time, so everyone was everyone was fasting. So and the people didn't like it that much, because we were considered as Westerners, and during Ramadan. So we were drinking and eating while they can't. So the first days I didn't know. And then when they told me it's because of Ramadan, then I was like, oh, sorry, you should have told us, And so it was just bad timing, I would say.
All right. This portion is called Around the World in 20 Questions. Planet or no plans?
No plans at all.
Solo travel or group travel?
Solo, always.
Are you a heavy packer or a light packer?
Like, I don't know, 15 kilograms? I don't know if maximum.
Yeah.
That's my maximum.
That's light, yeah.
Yeah, that's really light.
Beach or mountains?
Combination of two.
Desert or rainforest?
Rainforest.
Cities or nature?
Nature.
What is your favorite food from travel?
Asian food, like fresh fish from the Mekong River. That was amazing.
What is your favorite drink or beverage that you've had while traveling?
Mexico, and it's called the horchata.
Oh, yeah. I love horchata. It's so
delicious.
good.
Yeah.
What is the longest flight you've been on?
It was Barcelona, Santiago de Chile. I think we were in the plane for almost 14 hours.
On a plane, would you rather sit next to a really smelly person or a crying baby?
The crying baby.
If your travels were a movie, what genre would it be?
Well, definitely not a drama.
Okay.
It's a mix of comedy and adventure and action as well.
Are you more for the gram or for the fam?
Yeah, it's both actually, but I have a close friend list for other stuff.
I'm on the close friend list.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Skydiving or scuba diving?
Scuba, because I'm afraid of heights.
Would you rather have a hot one-night stand or a week-long travel romance that ends?
So I had a week-long romance during my last trip.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was awkward because the girl was from Chile, but we met in Bolivia, in Uyuni, and then we traveled to Argentina and Brazil together. So it was like
Wow.
4 countries plus the Belgian side. So it was nice.
That's super awesome. I love that. If you could take a date anywhere in the world, what is the most romantic place you can think of?
I think of Venice. Venice is a
Really?
very nice place, yeah.
I don't like Venice, personally.
No? I've been there 3 times.
I've only been there once, but it was so touristy, and it felt really crowded the whole time.
I mean, you have to wake up very early when you go to Venice. And definitely not go in summer because it smells a lot.
Yeah, I went in the summer.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So that's why.
Do you like walking tours or just going out on your own?
When I'm in big cities, maybe I might go for a walking tour. But when I'm in the middle of nature, I don't need anyone. I don't need any...
What is one essential thing you always pack other than like your passport, your phone? What is something that you personally pack?
Well, my camera.
I'm going to list the 10 most visited cities of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want you to say if you've been there and if you recommend it. Number 1 is Bangkok.
Never been.
Number 2 is Paris.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's highly recommended. And I've been there. I've been to Paris maybe 50 or 60 times.
Number 3 is London.
Highly recommended. I love that city.
What about Dubai?
I've never been, and I think I will never go.
Why?
Everything is fake there. There's no culture.
Singapore.
For 1 day.
Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Yeah, I've been there. I spent, I think, 3 nights. It's a very nice city, of course, also very cosmopolitan, and the food was amazing.
How about New York City?
I've been there, but I think I should have spent more days there. I was there only for 1 night. It was just a layover, so yeah, wasn't enough. But the cities, well, as a European, it's mesmerizing. All these skyscrapers and crazy. I was walking, just staring. I mean, looking at this on the sky and trying not to bump into people.
Tokyo.
I've never been, but it's on my list.
And then these next 2, I know you've been to Turkey quite a few times. The final 2 are Istanbul and, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Antalya?
Yeah, Istanbul is one of my favorite cities, not because I have Turkish origins, not at all, but if you love history and culture, yeah, of course, food again, and it's really amazing. And the fact that you can be in Europe and then you cross a bridge and then you're in Asia, it has a particular taste, let's say. Antalya is like, I don't know if I can compare it to Cancun, maybe not that much, but it's that type of city. So you just go there to party, to get drunk, to get high. I mean, there are a lot of things to visit, but most people just go there to have fun, but they miss the best part of it because there are a lot of archaeological sites all around. But the weather is amazing. Like from March until November, the weather is quite good. You could swim for 6 months, literally.
Thank you for telling me about Antalya because everyone I've asked about it before hasn't even heard of it. So
okay.
I'm glad that you could enlighten us.
Yeah.
The final question of the rapid fire round is, if you could live anywhere and money wasn't an issue, where would you live?
Florianopolis in Brazil.
Really? You liked it that much?
Yeah, it was amazing. People, everything, very good vibes, and it's really safe. And, it's a small island connected to the continent, let's say. It's a really small island. You're in white sand beaches with palm trees, and there is no one. The beaches were quite, not busy at all. So
wow.
you could feel that you're alone on an island.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram when you were there, and I was so jealous that you were there. It looked so nice. Because I had actually gone to the beach in Brazil a couple weeks earlier, and it had been rainy and cloudy the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was happy that you made it.
Yeah, but you saw the Carnival of Rio, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I was in Carnival.
Yeah, so even with rain, with storm, it's just amazing.
Travel means a lot of different things to different people. So I know, at least I know there's a difference between in the United States when we get time off from work, we usually get like a couple weeks a year, I think. Whereas I think in Europe, do you guys get more time off from work than we do?
Yeah, we have about 28 days.
So for a lot of people, especially, I know a lot of Americans, travel is usually just like taking your 2 weeks off and going somewhere. But for other people, it's like taking 3 months or a year or whenever. What role does travel play in your life?
I've never been a career guy, you know. I mean, I had maybe 10 different jobs in my life because when I felt that I needed to travel, when I had this thing inside me boiling, telling me you have to travel now, enough work. So I was just quitting my job and packing my everything, and then just leaving the next day. I'm trying to do it. Of course, half is not possible. Like 6 months traveling, 6 months working is not enough. So usually what I do is 9 months traveling and 9 months working and 3 months traveling. That's what I try to keep, but it's not always possible because it costs a lot to travel.
Yeah, what impact has it had on you as a person? Have you changed over time from traveling?
Yeah, so before I was, you know, like this regular employee only taking his 3 or 4 weeks per year to travel, but I wasn't really enjoying it. Because yeah, there is this countdown that you're always thinking of, okay, in 10 days left, 9 days left, and you keep counting, so you cannot really enjoy it. So at some point I just decided to take one ways only, and then I could feel that I'm really enjoying every second, and that's what I call holiday. It's not 2 weeks or 1 week going to south of France for me. That doesn't count. I don't even consider it as a holiday.
How do you decide where to go when you travel?
Well, it depends a lot on the price of the ticket. Like instead of going to Santiago de Chile, I wanted to go to Bangkok, by the way. But when I compared, there was more than $300 difference. So I was like, okay, let's go to South America, and I've never been to Chile, so that's the opportunity to go. And yeah, usually that's what I do. And also it's a matter of time. Like if I have only 1 week, of course I'm trying to stay in Europe. Yeah, not too far, just 3-4 hour flights maximum.
Do you have any money saving tips for travel?
Don't go every day to the restaurant. Just go to the market, to the local market, and buy vegetables, fruits, everything you need, and just cook in the hostel or in the place you're at. Buy cheap food, but good food. And it's better for local markets, for not to go to big groceries and stuff. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have any safety tips or any like horror stories that you've had while traveling?
So when I traveled, for example, to Mexico or even in some areas of Buenos Aires, people were telling me, "Oh, be careful! Don't go there! Don't do that!" But I'm a bit. I like to see all aspects of a city.
Was it people from Europe were telling you that, or people from those countries?
Sometimes both. So, but when locals say, like for example, when I was in Buenos Aires, I decided to walk around the city, and then I ended up in El Barrio de la Boca. And
yes.
Yeah. So I was living at a friend's in a friend's house, and when I told her that I was in Barrio de la Boca, she said, "I'm from here. I was born here, but I never been there, never alone, because it's so dangerous. You took a risk." But I didn't feel any. I mean, I didn't feel unsafe. And in Mexico, well, people told me to be afraid not of locals, but to be afraid of police.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but nothing really nothing bad happened to me. Maybe once in Istanbul, you have like a mafia like in Istanbul. They just try to get you in a bar and they say, okay, you can get one beer and then the second one would be free. But it's just a scam. You go inside and then they serve you with fruits and food. So you have like a royal table. And then at the end they say, okay, you have to pay $100. There is this type of scam in Istanbul, unfortunately. So you better be careful. But no one ever told me that Istanbul is dangerous. So that's the that's the tricky part, because they say that, I don't know, Mexico, or it's like Belgium, like Brussels here. There are a lot of areas that I would never recommend to any friend, because it can be really dangerous. I mean, you're not gonna get killed, but you're gonna get robbed for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any other I don't know, like safety advice for people, especially for people who are like beginner travelers and want to travel to these more like dangerous?
Yeah.
They're not really dangerous, but you should definitely take some precautions.
Yeah, sure. So when I was in São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, I know that like a lot of gringos, let's say, get robbed. So I usually take maximum $20 or 20 euros, let's say. And my phone, so for example, I don't have a lot of pictures from Rio de Janeiro, even though I was there for 2 weeks, because my phone was in my pocket. I was trying not to show it. And of course, I didn't take my DSLR camera neither, because that's like, hey, come rob me, I don't like to show off. So I was just with my slippers and a very old t-shirt and like low profile.
I think the money advice is really smart too, because I know for a lot of people when they travel and they take out money from an ATM, it makes more sense to take out a lot of money at once, because the fee is the same no matter how much you take out. But you never want to carry all of it around with you. You want to put some of it in like a locked box in your hostel and only carry whatever you need for like that day. So that's a really good tip. Is there anything that annoys you about other travelers?
I mean, when they act like they're in their own country, like not respecting local cultures or traditions. I don't know, like tips, for example. So we don't tip a lot here in Europe, but in Chile, that propina, so the tip is something really important, like in the United States, by the way. Yeah. So if you go there to those countries and you don't tip, or you don't want to because that you're not used to it, I found it a bit, I don't know, like unfair, I would say. And some people are arrogant as well. Like, we Westerners, we're a bit arrogant. And they should show, some tourists should show more empathy, I would say. And or talking loud or dressed inappropriately, inappropriately. Ooh, this word is so hard.
It's a big word.
Yes. Yeah, so this kind of things, complaining about the heat or the food, that's so stupid. I mean, if you go to Mexico in summertime, don't expect that it's 15 degrees Celsius, or that there is no McDonald's in the area. I hate that. I mean, when you travel 6,000-7,000 miles from your home and you're looking for McDonald's, I found this very stupid.
It is. I agree. Yeah, there are a lot of things that annoy me especially about American travelers, but also Western travelers, gringos, just all of them.
Yeah, I mean, or the gringos that are looking only for gringos, like they just stick together, I don't like that. I want to know how the others live, how locals live.
Do you ever experience like getting tired or maybe like mentally down while you travel? And if so, what keeps you going and like motivated? Well,
in some Arab countries or in Africa, those people that wants to tells you that, oh, come to my shop, come to my store. So they always try to sell you things, or when you want to buy something, finally, you have to bargain all the time. Because the price that they say is, you start at $100 and you end up buying it for 10. So I hate
Yeah.
that. This is really annoying. I hate that when people are pushy, or you know, they should be like for this purpose they should be like Europe. Just put the price, a fixed price, and that's it. There is no discussions, no arguing about it. That's the price, and it's the same price for everyone, not for gringos and others. And yeah, or when I take the subway, I mean the bus, in some places. Well, after the third day, I was like, oh, actually, I'm paying double because I'm a gringo. So yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
Do you ever, I know we've talked about this a little bit, do you experience kind of like a post-travel depression? And if you do, which I think we all do, some of us, what helps you to get through that?
Going through pictures or telling all the stories that, you know, just I'm living all the trip again by telling my story to my friends, to my family. And it also motivates me because I'm thinking about the next one. What's next? So I try to plan. I mean, because of Corona now, I had to stop. But I'm already thinking about my next destination, which probably will be, I don't know, maybe Japan, if I can. Yeah, just talking about my trips is nice, and keeping contact with my friends that I met there in Chile, Argentina, in all those countries. I like that too, because I know that I will probably see them again.
I agree with that. I've been trying to keep in contact with all of my new friends that I've made. And I think it really helps, especially right now in this time of coronavirus, to know that everyone around the world is going through this. Just to like acknowledge that coronavirus is happening and everything. Do you think it's going to change the way that you or the rest of us travel in the future?
Well, when I look at Asians, like let's take Chinese as example, they were always wearing a mask, and we were making fun of them like 5 years ago, 3 years ago. But now they're the one making fun of us.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would do is maybe use masks more, and I mean, even aesthetically, we're not used to it, so it's weird for us, but it's not that ugly. They are nice masks, so yeah, probably. I mean, usually in terms of hygiene, I think I take good care of myself, and even though I love street food, like for example, a lot of people would never dare eating street food or junk food, let's say. But I love it, so I'm glad that my stomach handles it.
It's strong.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, no big changes. I think, except maybe the mask. That's it.
I mean, the way I was thinking about it was, I don't know, it's different because we're in the United States. We have this awful president who won't listen to anybody. But it's nice to see the rest of the world kind of taking, like learning lessons from other countries on how to handle this and respecting other countries and how they've handled it. And I hope that we hold on to that when we go ahead and start traveling again, and that when we do go to other countries, we respect their ways of doing things and know that even if it's different, we all have this like shared humanity, and we all need to figure out how to fight these things the same. And some people's methods work better than others. So I don't know. I just really hope that this will help them keep an open mind when they travel in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was talking about this a few days ago. Like when we go to Africa or to Arab countries, we are welcome as kings. Like, you know, they open doors. They are so nice with us and so generous. And on the opposite, when they come here, when Africans are in Europe, everyone looks at them like, you know, arrogantly, or even if the guy is a tourist like us. You know, they have this. We are judgmental here in Western Europe. It's a reality. It's a sad reality, but yeah. And also Arabs, they have a very bad image. For example, here, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, why are they are so nice with us when we go to their country? Why don't we do the same with them when they come here? Yeah, like Chinese too. Like everyone said, oh, it's because of China, this coronavirus. But nah, we cannot blame a country for that. I mean, that's bullshit.
Do you feel like traveling has taken you out of a Western mindset? And I mean, at least for me, I know I still feel very Western because I was raised in like the United States as a white woman. But I also feel like by traveling, I've been able to see the ways that my own country and society is very like wasteful and is very racist. Do you feel like you've been taken out of the Western mindset a little bit?
Yeah, sure. But maybe I have a little advantage on you is that it's because of my parents' origins. Because we're like Turkish, Arabic, we are like Muslim and Christian. So I'm a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I felt this. I mean, sometimes I even feel it here in my own country because I'm not blonde with blue eye. I'm not the typical Belgian, let's say. Yeah. I'm still considered as immigrant, even though I was born here and I was raised here, and all my life I would probably die here for sure. And so I think I see things maybe a little bit differently, and I'm not that arrogant because, yeah, my parents, they were poor when they arrived here. So my father used to work in the mines, the coal mines.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, his life was tough compared to mine. So
yeah, that's a dangerous job.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I think I have more respect for a lot of different communities because when I see a woman with a scarf, with a veil, whatever, I don't look at her like, oh, she's weird. Oh, she has a bomb on her, or she's a terrorist, you know. But unfortunately, some people, they're like that. They see a guy with a big bear, they think that he's gonna blow himself up and stuff like that. It's just stupid. Yeah. Just cliches, but it's also because of the media and the politics.
You know what's really interesting to me is when we had this conversation in Chile, I remember you talking about how very like there's a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric in a lot of European countries. Yeah. And that actually, it surprised me a little bit. I don't know if this is true of all Americans or whoever I'm speaking for right now, but I know for me at least, I was raised to think that Europe is very like progressive and like this very like liberal place, especially like Western European countries. So it surprised me a little bit when you said that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of inequalities, xenophobia, racism, sexism a lot, and it's hard when you don't have, let's say, European name. Like, I don't know, when your name is not Jean, for example, and your name is Mohammed, even though you're the 5th generation here, like your parents are here since 50 years, it doesn't change. You could always face racism, unfortunately.
I don't know. It's interesting to learn that for me because that makes me feel, it's weird. It makes me feel more connected to like Europeans because I'm like, oh my God, they're racist just like us Americans. But at the same time, it feels like we're excluding a lot of the world from our societies because we feel this way. It sucks, yeah. Thanks for sharing that with me. Kind of a similar question. What are some of the most significant cultural differences that you've experienced when traveling?
Yeah, maybe.
I know you have a very multicultural background, so I don't know what is most different for you?
I don't know, maybe Arab countries, even though I have Arab blood.
Really?
Because there, for example, a word is more important than a signed paper. So words means a lot there.
Oh, wow.
So when someone shakes your hand or gives a word, it's really important. If you break it, it's the end of the world. So there is a big respect, and if you can understand the way they work, the way they act and react, those people are really nice. Actually, I love the Arab culture. They make you feel like you are one of their brothers. even if you come from the US or Belgium or Japan or whatever. So I like this aspect, but maybe for you it would be different in the first days, because for sure you will feel that a lot of men will just stare at you, like in a very bad way, because they are not used to see let's say liberate woman. I don't know if I can say that, like like a free woman that you want to dress it like a skirt, a mini skirt. You can do it, but a local woman would never do it, for example. So that's why when they see a white woman, of course I hate it, but it's just that they're not used to see that. Everything is so prohibited, everything is taboo. And I mean, there are progressive Arab countries, of course, but most of them have still a lot of work to do and change minds. So they are open-minded people, but they can also be very, very closed and narrow-minded because of religion, the way it's taught, actually. Because I think Islam religion is like all religions, They're all pretty similar to me. It's just the way it's shown and interpreted. I think that's the bad way.
I think that's true. Even of like when you were saying that, I was thinking, there are really intense Christian people in America who don't think that women should have rights too. Like it's the same thing. It's just a little bit more people, I think, in that country grow up with that sentiment than maybe in my country. But it still happens even here.
Yeah, wow,
So,
that's crazy. Yeah.
who is the most interesting person you've met?
So I think it was in Africa. I met a guy. I mean, he was a homeless guy, and so I tried to help him because he was washing his clothes in the sea. So he was using the water of the sea, and I was in my 4-star hotel. So my balcony, I was looking at him from my balcony. I was like, what the fuck? I felt really bad. I felt like guilty because I was in a luxury state, and this guy had only one t-shirt that he was washing with salt water. So I tried to help him as much as I could. So yeah, I did small things, but I helped him. I gave him clothes, and I invited him to a restaurant. And then he told me about his life. So he had a normal life, like you and I, and then everything he lost his wife, he lost his father, his mother. So it was just like snowball effect. I don't know if it's called like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was just depressed, and then he lost everything in like 1 month, and then the guy lost his home and everything. He even had to leave his country because he was from Somalia initially, and I met him in Tanzania, and he had to flee because of a civil war and a lot of ethnic cleansing. So a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was talking about it, I was like, it could be me actually. So that was a nice, a sad but intense meeting, let's say, with this guy.
That's a great story. I studied abroad in Italy while I was in college, and we were supposed to be studying migration and immigration, and we were supposed to like meet with some African refugees who were crossing the Mediterranean to Italy. And we didn't do much while we were on the program, but then I went and traveled by myself to Sicily, and I ended up I was traveling by myself, and I was a pretty new traveler, so I was pretty susceptible to like men coming up to me and trying to talk to me and stuff. But I did meet a couple different like young men who had come over from Africa, and they literally had nothing. And I can think of one in particular who he had witnessed a lot of people die trying to do the Mediterranean crossing, and he had barely made it himself. And I just remember I sat there with him I was feeling really homesick at the time, and he was telling me about how he really missed his family. And it was just, it's because you're like, yeah, that could be me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be me. I feel the same homesickness, not to the same extent, like he had lost so much more than me, but it's a really powerful feeling, I think, seeing someone who you could be walking in their shoes and they could be walking in yours, and you almost feel it. And then you go back to your life and you're fine, and who knows where they go, and it's
exactly.
It's wild.
Like, all depends sometimes on where you were born, or like it's more like a curse, like if you're born in Ethiopia or whatever, or Somalia, or in the human rights they say that we are all equal, we're born all equal or something like that, but it's not true.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess trying to tie this back into the podcast, it's so important to just like, I think it's so important to notice those people when you're traveling, because even when you're at home or when you're walking down the street in a foreign city, there's always people who are homeless. There's always people who are suffering. And I think a lot of people, when they travel, they just want to have a good time. And so they'll like ignore that. But when I travel, I like to take in a new place for the good and the bad. And I don't always I don't always feel safe or comfortable talking to those people, but I do like to acknowledge that they're there. I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of poverty everywhere. And like Sao Paulo, when I was in Sao Paulo, it was, I don't even want to talk about it. It's depressing.
Yeah.
So many homeless people, like kids, were sleeping on the streets. So, yeah.
So let's transition into something a little bit more lighthearted, I guess.
Yeah, please.
Thanks for talking about that. I think that was a good conversation.
Yeah.
What is the biggest lesson or takeaway for you from traveling?
Well, to be thankful to be a privilege, because I was born in Europe, so I have a lot of privileges compared to most of people on this planet. We Westerners, we have no right to complain. Sometimes we complain, oh, my internet is slow today. So we complain about stupid things. But these people, they're like, oh, today we have water, but maybe tomorrow we won't have enough water to drink, or so I see the world differently. And I don't like people who are I don't know how you call it. The thing that the horses have.
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. It's where you, for everyone listening, since this is a podcast and not a video, the thing where the horses have
on their eyes too high.
They have these patches on the sides of their eyes so they can only see the ground in front of them and not anything around them.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone knows what they're called, please send me an email, let me know. But yeah.
It opened my eyes, actually. Traveling opened my eyes and taught me a lot of things, life lessons, let's say. Being born in a poor country and being born in a Western modern country, it's a big difference. Like I was saying that I was sometimes traveling 3-4 months. I mean, who can do that? Who can do that? It's a big privilege.
And I think that's a really great point, because a lot of people associate socioeconomic status with being privileged, but there's also a privilege that comes with even your citizenship. I met a woman in Colombia who was literally just trying to visit Canada. She was trying to get a visa to visit Canada, and they weren't letting her get a visa just to travel there, just to travel for a couple months. And I could drive up to the border of Canada right now and get in if I want, because I have a US passport. It's just, it literally can come down to where you're born.
Most powerful passport is the Europeans, American, and I think Scandinavian is the best one. They don't need any visa for almost no countries.
Okay, big question. Is travel for everyone?
No. I think that some people can't even behave in their own city. So how would they behave if they go to other countries with other cultures? Yeah, they should. No, it's a no. I'm trying to find, but no. Some people, and some people don't like it. I have friends who are like, why do you travel that much, and especially alone. I would never go alone. And I don't know, maybe they're afraid, or I don't know what it is, or they just it's not their passion. But it's, for me, it's weird. For me, someone who doesn't like traveling is a weirdo.
Okay, so you already mentioned this a little bit, but after all of this corona is over, hopefully, praying for it, where are you going next?
Well, Japan. I would love to go to Japan, and if it's not possible because of economic reason, because now I'm unemployed, of course, with all what's happening. The tourism sector is dead. So if I can go to Japan, I will go to our house. We have a house at the beach in Turkey.
Both of those options sound very nice.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to use my passport again. Although I miss those stamps.
The stamps. I'm addicted to the passport stamps.
Yes.
I'm going through withdrawal. My final question is, for people out there listening who want travel recommendations, where do you recommend people to travel to?
Well, I would maybe recommend to start with European cities, European countries, I mean, because once you are here, let's say you are in Paris, you could easily fly or just drive from Paris to Brussels in 3 hours, and then from Brussels to Amsterdam in 2 hours. From Amsterdam to Cologne, it's 2.5 hours. So you could see actually a lot in just 1 week or 2 weeks. In short time, you could see maybe 5-6 major cities of Europe. And we have also another big advantage is those low-cost airlines like Ryanair or EasyJet, all these companies. Like I traveled to Barcelona for 10 euros round trip. It's
oh my God.
It's like $12 or $11.
I can't even go to California for that little. I pay like $100 to go to California round trip.
I visited every European country with those low-cost companies. I never paid more than $100. Never, ever. Maybe the flight from the US to here will be like $400 or $300 sometimes. But here, with $300, you could visit 10 countries easily.
If someone is a little bit more than a beginner, like an intermediate, they've done some European cities, maybe they've gone to the US or Mexico or some pretty touristy places, where would you recommend going that's a little bit more unknown or less touristy? Yeah,
Southeast Asia. Well, first backpack. No big, no heavy luggage. They don't need that. And hitchhike, like a country where you can hitchhike also. It's a good experience too. So yeah, maybe Southeast Asia or Greece.
So awesome. This is the end of the podcast. Zach, thank you so much for being here. I had a really great time meeting you in South America. We had some really fun times. I'm definitely going to post some pictures of you painting chairs because I have some good ones. I have some really fun ones. But thank you so much for sharing your insights here.
You're welcome. And by the way, it's my first podcast conversation, so I'm happy that I could help you.
You're going to have a big fan base after this.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Friendly Faces, Amazing Places. If you'd like to see pictures from my guests' travels, go ahead and check out our Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube channels. And if you want to stay up to date on future upcoming episodes, please follow and subscribe.